In every confrontation, there exists a paradox. The loudest, the angriest, the most forceful may seem the most powerful. But in truth, the most potent force is the calmest. It is in stillness that we find our true strength. This is the wisdom that Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary Japanese swordsman, came to understand deeply. His life of duels, his mind honed like a blade, reveals a profound lesson. Calmness, not force, is the key to overcoming any conflict. In this world that rushes toward noise and reaction, Musashi offers us a rare treasure, an ancient framework for staying grounded, no matter how stormy the waters of conflict. He engaged in over 60 duels to the death, and through each, he mastered emotional control. This mastery didn't lie in physical strength or technique. It lay in his ability to remain untouched by the emotional turbulence of the moment. His calmness became his greatest weapon, one that no opponent could counter. Today, let's reflect on how we can cultivate this stillness. How do we too learn to stay calm in any confrontation? The answer is not simply in learning to suppress emotion, but in something deeper, creating space, knowing what's coming, breathing deeply, and staying focused on a higher purpose. The first principle Musashi employed was emotional distance, a practice that transcends the simple idea of not reacting. When someone yells at us, when we're challenged or insulted, our bodies immediately respond. Our hearts race, our muscles tighten, our thoughts grow erratic. This is the primal response, the fight-or-flight instinct awakened in us. We become the storm. We are no longer simply witnessing the confrontation, we are swept into it. Our anger, our fear, our pride, all of these emotions take control of us, driving us to speak or act in ways that we later regret. But Musashi, in his quiet wisdom, understood that the key to victory was never in the clash itself, but in the ability to step outside of it, to rise above the storm. Imagine for a moment the last time someone made you angry. You felt it surge inside you, an overwhelming tide. In that moment you became your anger, your response controlled by the intensity of the emotion. Now consider this shift. Instead of saying, "I am angry," you say to yourself, "I notice that I am feeling anger." This subtle change creates a small space between you and your emotion. It transforms you from being swept away to simply witnessing. You begin to stand apart from the turmoil. You are not the storm, you are the observer of the storm. Musashi practiced this in the most intense situations. In his most famous duel against Sasaki Kojiro, his opponent arrived filled with impatience, with anger simmering beneath his surface. Musashi, in contrast, remained serene, stepping outside the emotional flood. He saw the situation clearly, not through the lens of his emotions, but from a higher perspective. Once you have created distance from your emotional response, the next step is to anticipate what is to come. Musashi's second principle was anticipatory awareness, or foreknowledge, the ability to foresee what is likely to happen before it does. This is not about mind reading, but about recognizing patterns in human behavior. Emotions follow certain paths, and when you learn to recognize these patterns, you gain an advantage. Consider a chess player who does not simply react to the present move, but thinks 5 moves ahead. Musashi, too, studied human behavior and conflict like a chessboard. He understood that when someone is angry, their options narrow. The reaction is predictable. When you can foresee the emotional trajectory of a confrontation, you are not caught off guard by sudden anger or fear. Take a moment before any difficult conversation and ask yourself 3 simple questions. What is this person likely feeling right now? What do they want from this interaction? What are the 3 most likely ways they might react? This is anticipatory awareness. It removes the surprise element from the equation. It allows you to act, not react. Consider the work of an FBI negotiator, trained to read the behavior of someone under extreme pressure. They know the patterns of behavior, and by recognizing them, they stay calm, while others may panic. This foresight allows them to choose their words carefully, to diffuse tension instead of escalating it. Musashi's anticipatory awareness teaches us that confrontation doesn't have to be chaotic. When you prepare for it, you begin to see it not as a battle to be fought, but as a pattern to be navigated. Even with emotional distance and foresight, Musashi knew that there was a third principle that brought everything together: strategic breathing. The breath is a bridge between the body and the mind. When we are afraid or angry, our breathing becomes shallow, rapid, and uneven. But when we control our breath, we control our emotional state. Musashi understood this connection. He taught his students to breathe deeply and slowly, especially during moments of great pressure. Breath, he believed, was the path to clarity. By breathing deeply, we engage the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of us that calms, that restores balance. In contrast, shallow breathing triggers the fight-or-flight response, sending us further into chaos. In moments of tension, whether in a meeting, an argument, or any other confrontation, use Musashi's breathing technique. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold briefly, and then exhale slowly for 6 seconds. This simple act slows the heart, clears the mind, and restores focus. It's a tool for regaining control when everything around you seems to be spiraling out of it. The final principle that Musashi espoused is perhaps the most profound: purposeful action. In any confrontation, we must ask ourselves not how we will win, but why we are engaging in this conflict at all. What is the purpose? Musashi's teachings suggest that we must never act from a place of emotion, anger, fear, pride, but from a place of clarity, guided by our larger goals. A confrontation that begins as a small issue can quickly spiral into something much more: a series of personal attacks, a battle of egos, a waste of energy. But when we are focused on our purpose, we avoid these distractions. The emotional chaos no longer sways us. We remain anchored in our larger intention. Before any confrontation, ask yourself, what is my true objective here? What outcome would serve my long-term goals, not just my immediate emotions? This clarity becomes the compass by which you navigate the storm. You stop reacting and start acting with purpose, with direction. Your emotions then no longer control you. They serve you. Together, these 4 principles: emotional distance, anticipatory awareness, strategic breathing, and purposeful action, form a system of control that transcends the immediate conflict. But more than that, they reveal something much deeper: a way of living that is not bound by the whims of emotion, a way of being that is steady, clear, and in harmony with the flow of life itself. What Musashi's wisdom reveals, in the quiet space between the chaos, is that the most powerful person is not the one who wins every confrontation, but the one who chooses when to engage. The truly powerful person knows that many conflicts dissolve without their participation. They do not feed the flames, and in doing so they remain free. In a world constantly pulling us toward reaction, to be calm in a confrontation is to rise above it, to see the world, not as a series of battles to win, but as an unfolding path of clarity and peace. And in that stillness, you become something greater than you ever imagined. You become the calm in the storm.